let me bust in and throw it to line 5, 407. Who's this?
Hey, this is Larry Zbyszko calling. I got your message.
What's up, living legend? Now we talked about the Scott Hall YouTube show. What are your thoughts on this? I guess feud that's been made up between you and Ric Flair now.
Well, I didn't know there was a feud. I don't know. Is there a feud? You know, I mean, it's easy to pick on Flair, especially after his wife beats the crap out of him. You know, like Tiger Woods. And I was just making a point to Scott and some of the guys we were talking, because I said, you know, of all the guys in the business that have been in the business for 40 years that have really kept their careers going, you know, I mean, you got Hogan and Flair and me, but there aren't too many guys our age that have been on TV that long. Most of the guys died out in the early 90s. You know, I was on WCW, and then I was with TNA, then the ESPN Classics. So I've always been around the tube. You know, Flair's, you know, still trucking along, and so is the Hulk. But Flair's one of the guys that after all these years, we've never wrestled each other ever.
Wow.
And so I was just commenting, and they found it hard to believe, but you know, it's true. And one time in WCW, they wanted us to wrestle, but Flair chickened out, so it never happened. It was kind of like, too bad. It would have been a great match for the fans at that time.
Now, when we say he chickened out, he said no, I'm scared. He left, or
well, yeah, basically. Years, you know, Flair's kind of an interesting character, but years ago, when we were both starting, I got all the publicity because I was doing the big super feud with Bruno. Yeah. And back in those days, when there was the territories and had, you know, not nationwide television and no internet and cell phones, if you can believe that, you know, but all the publicity for wrestling was the only thing they had was the magazines that went nationwide. And all the magazines and everything came out of New York City. So I was getting all the coverage for a couple of years as the #1 most hated guy and the biggest feud and all that. And Flair was getting hot about it, telling everybody that, oh, that's just because Bruno was so great. This Zbyszko guy's nothing. I'm much better. Because he was trying to get a break, but no one was talking about him. Not that he wasn't good, but the publicity wasn't coming out of Charlotte back then. It came out of New York.
Yeah.
So, you know, so kind of, you know, we're both young and full of testosterone, so I sent a message back through the boy Grapevine saying, will you tell Flair, you know, one of these days we'll get in the ring and we'll see who the better man is. Because I thought that was kind of, you know, stupid of him to say that. And, you know, so I think he figured that if we got in the ring in WCW, especially on live TV, you know, he's afraid I'd just bury him and all that, so he didn't want to do it.